I'm Sheila Casteel. I am the speech instructor here at Ivester for Lanier Technical College, and I am going to be talking to you about how to be successful in college in general and how to be successful in my class specifically. So for some of you on the first day of class, some of this might be repetitive, but that's okay. Repetition is a good thing because it helps you to remember. So I have a question for you. How many of you, is this your first semester here at Ivester? Raise your hands high in the air and proud. I'm new. I'm a first timer, okay? Those of you that are experienced Ivester students, you raise your hands. Right, so the new students, pay attention to the students that have been through this before. I have found that some of the best learning comes from your classmates, from your peers. So don't be afraid to reach out to your peers. So I'm going to tell you some things that will help you to be successful. One of them is related to time management. Another one is related to classroom engagement. And another one is related to my class in general. Alrighty? So classroom engagement. In order to be successful in your class, you need to be engaged with your class. So classroom engagement. It's important for you to be engaged in the classroom when you enter the classroom. So one of the most important things to do to have classroom engagement is to be present. Show up to class. That's the first biggest step. Show up to class. You might feel like you don't want to get out of bed. You might feel like you've got other things that you've got to do. Show up to class. Be to class regularly. Then once you walk in the classroom door and you're present in the classroom, then you need to be present in the classroom. And what does that mean? That means that you are paying attention to what's going on around you. You're paying attention to your teacher, whoever that teacher may be, whatever class that may be. You're paying attention to the teacher. So to do that, you put your phone down. You don't have your phone in front of you. You don't have your earbuds in. You're not talking with your neighbor. There will be a time for you to talk with your neighbor in classes, and take advantage of that time. When a teacher asks you a question, be willing to answer the question. There's really not a wrong answer, because even if you are not on the right path of what the teacher is looking for, it's a learning opportunity for you. It's a learning opportunity for the class, and believe it or not, it can be a learning opportunity for your instructor. So don't be afraid to speak up in class. When a teacher poses a question to you, be willing to answer the question. So how can you answer the question? Well, one of the things that you need to do to be present in your classroom environment is to do the preparing work before you come into the class. There's this thing called the syllabus. College classes have them all over the place. Make sure that you become acquainted with the syllabus for each and every one of your classes. So many questions that you might have will be answered by looking in the syllabus. Look at the syllabus. That shows your teacher that you are prepared, that you are present, that you have an idea of what's going on. But if something's not clear, ask. Ask for clarification. Don't leave it up to yourself to try and figure it out. Ask questions. So show up to class, be present, read your syllabus, be willing to ask questions, be willing to take notes. Because you might think that you asked a question and you got the answer, I'm going to remember it, I know I'm going to remember it. 5 minutes later, what's going to happen? You're not going to remember it. So this is an example that I use in my speech classes. How many of you have gone to the store for your parents to pick up whatever it is? Mom's giving you a shopping list, Dad's giving you a shopping list, and you have your shopping list, and you go to the store, and you come back, and you've forgotten some key things on the shopping list because you didn't have the list with you. You just, oh, remember, Mom, I'll remember. You don't need to tell me again. I know, I got it. How many of you have come home empty-handed with something that you were supposed to have gotten at the store? Raise your hand. I cannot be the only one in the room. I cannot be the only one in the room. So write it down. Take notes. Learn to take notes. Learn to use the resources that are available to you. Here at Ivester, you have a wonderful array of resources. There are resources through your college. Use those resources. They're paid for already. There's not any extra charge, so take advantage of it. Don't wait until you are sinking. Use those resources right away. Coming around the corner, people in the corner there, you're in the corner. Use your resources that you have available to you. There are writing resources, there are math resources, there are counseling resources, there are food resources, there are resources for just about anything that you can imagine. So use the resources that are available to you. Time management is another key thing. In order to be present, you need to know what's going on with your schedule. This is a college environment. It's kind of a hybrid, college and high school, because this is small and intimate, and you get to know each other, but you're not all from the same high school, so you're going to learn about each other from different high schools. But the learning and the way that you learn in college is set up a little differently than in high school. In high school, you go to the class and you see your teacher every day, right? And if you don't turn in your homework and you don't turn something in, your teacher is going to come up to you and say, "Where's the homework? You need to turn that homework in. Come on, I gotta get it." So you've got that. Fortunately here at Ivester, there's a little bit of that, because the teachers and the counselors are kind of in constant contact in terms of how you're doing. So if you're not doing things that you're supposed to be doing, then you're going to have somebody that's going to chase you down and say, "Okay, so where's your homework? Why didn't you take that test? Why don't you want to give your speech?" But as you move forward in college, that's not going to happen. You go to a college class and you don't turn something in and you don't show up, you know what? Your college professor is most likely, quite frankly, not really going to care. So your learning is on you. You will get out of your education what you put into it. So the responsibility is on you. So this is part of the transition from high school to college, of pushing that back on you. And time management is key. Because you're in the high school environment and you're going to school every single day, you're there. But in the college environment, you go to class for a little bit, and most of your learning, most of the things that you're going to be doing are going to be done outside of the classroom. So you need to figure out when you're going to get all of this done. "Oh, I've only got class 2 days a week." Cool. Well, you've still got work that will account for the other days that you have to do on your own. So you need to figure out what you can do. Use a calendar. That calendar can be old-fashioned paper and pencil. It can be on your phone. It can be whatever program you want to use. It doesn't matter. Whatever it is that works for you. So you can keep track of all of the things that you have to do. You're in high school, so you've got your high school schedule to worry about, to be concerned about. I see cheer type uniforms. So you've got extracurricular activities that you've got to keep juggling. You've got family things that you've got to keep juggling. How many of you have a job too, on top of all of this? That's a lot of moving parts that you've got to keep track of. You need to know when and where you're supposed to be, when things are due. So manage your time, use a calendar, look at the syllabus, look at it ahead of time, know what's coming so that you can be prepared and you can be present during the time that you are in class. Alrighty? So, to be successful in my class, in the speech class, well, guess what? You are going to be speaking. You're going to be speaking in front of your classmates. You're going to be speaking in front of your peers. Yeah, right. Everybody's nervous. That's okay. I used to be so painfully nervous talking in front of people. I would wear high-collared shirts and long skirts, so you couldn't see my knees knocking, and you couldn't see my chest and my face turning red. My chest and my face might turn red now, not because I'm nervous, but because I'm hot. The more you do, the better you get. So if you sit back and you don't speak up and you don't talk and you don't participate, you're never going to get out of your comfort zone and you're never going to get any better. Another example that I use in class, how many of you are athletes? Okay, what's your sport?
Soccer.
Soccer? First time you kicked the soccer ball, how'd you do? And now how do you do? Are you as good as you want to be? Or would you like to get even better? Public speaking is a lot like that. And so is it's just like any other skill. First time you do it, oh, well, that did not go well. But you keep doing it. And the more times you are successful, the more times you want to do it. And then you keep raising the bar. Well, I can do this, now I want to do this, now I want to do this. So thinking about the Olympics, and I know that Olympic stories were shared, to anybody that is an Olympian, they started someplace and they got to where they are through hard work and through failure and mistakes. Learn and push through your failure, push through your mistakes. If you are present in class, if you do the homework that you're supposed to do, if you manage your time, and you do it when you don't even feel like doing it, you know what? The grades will eventually take care of themselves. Another thing that you need to pay attention to, particularly in my class, but in all of your other classes too, pay attention to feedback. Read the directions and pay attention to feedback. Know what's expected of you. If you don't understand what is expected to you after you've read the instructions, ask. Then when you give it a try, and you get feedback, maybe you didn't get the grade that you wanted, and you get the feedback, use that feedback, incorporate that feedback so that you can improve and do a better job next time. So, have you had a coach kind of help you with learning to play soccer? Okay, anybody else? An athlete that's had a coach that has helped them? I see you nodding your head. Okay, so what's your sport? What's your coach?
Basketball.
Basketball. So you have somebody that tells you, okay, I notice you're doing this when you're trying to shoot a basket. I notice that you're doing this when you're dribbling. Do this differently. That's what coaching is about. That's what going to school is about. So listen to your coaches, your teachers or your coaches. Listen to us for feedback to help you improve. Okay? So I'm going to ask a question of somebody in the room right now who's kind of experienced in this. She happens to be an ambassador. She happens to be behind the camera. Miss Kathy Perez is a former student of mine. She's had me for not one but two classes. So putting her on the spot, because she was in one of my public speaking classes, and impromptu speaking is something that you have to do you have anything that you can share with students to be successful?
Okay, guys. Well, yeah, like Miss Sheila, Miss Casteel
Either way.
said, I took two classes of hers, speech and human communications. And speech, well, mine was a little different. Mine was online, but sorry. So you have to really manage your time wisely. All of the information she gives you, it's all in textbook. She gives you PowerPoints. Please utilize those. They will really give you an advantage. I know there's discussion posts, quizzes, and speeches. She's really good at giving you like outlines, and just like she said, she gives you a lot of good feedback. If you take that feedback and put it into your future work, you're gonna do so good in her class. But yeah, I hope you have a good semester with her. But yeah,
Thank you. So, Does anybody have any questions or comments? We're getting to the point where I'm gonna need to wrap it up. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Okay, this is your chance to see how well you've been listening. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Okay. When will you start class? Okay, good, thank you. You brought up a question. Somebody may have this question, so thank you. Listening, you asked a question. So, classes for Linear Technical College start not next week, but the following Monday. August 12th, is that correct?
Yes.
August 12th. August 12th is the day that the classes start for Linear Technical College. But if I am not mistaken, you need to be here next week anyway for Ivester, even if there's not a class. They will have plenty of things for you to do to get you geared up to help you be successful. Alrighty? A lot of it is up in here in terms of your attitude. Be present and then be present. And do the work and do the prep before you walk into the classroom. So, thank you. I think it's time for me to let you go. I see people at the door. So, on to the next thing for you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you and meeting you and getting to know all of you in a couple weeks, week and a half, something like that.